Good afternoon, this is HorseRacingNation.com handicapper Jarrod Horak, and this is the video race of the week. This week for Saturday, May 31st, we're going to do the 8th race from Santa Anita Park. That's the Grade 1 American Oaks. This will be for 3-year-old fillies, and they're going to be going 10 furlongs on the turf course. So we're going to be looking for some horses that have some stamina, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of pace in this race either, so maybe a horse that has some tactical speed and then can outkick the others. As for the pace, I would think that Kissin' Lucky Lips, Tis the Key, they're the 5 and 6. They look like the pace in here, but from a class standpoint, they might be a bit up against it. They finished first and second in an optional claiming race at 10 furlongs at Santa Anita last time on the turf course, and they were up on the pace throughout, and there wasn't much pace signed on. The speed figure wasn't particularly strong. I think they're facing tougher competition here, and you're going to have horses sitting directly behind them that have a lot of class, and they may be able to outkick those horses. Number 3, Little Journey, is going to be my top choice. This one shipping in for trainer Chad Brown. This horse started the career in France, ran 7 times in France as a 2-year-old. Very consistent, was in the top 3 in all 7 of those starts. Ranging in distances from 7.5 furlongs to 1.25 miles. This horse very versatile. Was on different ground as well. Also faced the boys a few times. Ran into a horse called Flamboyant, a 3-year-old colt now. That horse is running in the United States, and she ran against that horse in France. Flamboyant won the La Puente Stakes at Santa Anita, was second in the Pennine Ridge last time out at Belmont. So that's a quality horse that she faced. And I like the fact that she was able to run well and win at 7.5 furlongs on turf in France, and then also win in 1 1/8 miles, and then just miss by a neck at 1.25 miles. You have to remember in those overseas races, especially when they run in those longer races, you have a lot of horses with long-winded pedigrees, and they're going to have a lot of stamina. And she certainly ran well in her 1.25 miles race to finish 3rd, only beating a neck. And then, as I said, she won at 7.5 furlongs, so she showed enough speed to run well in those shorter races, and then she showed stamina as well. And I think that showed in her U.S. debut. She came off almost a 6-month layoff, moved to the Chad Brown barn in the Edgewood Stakes at Churchill Downs. That was on May 2nd. She ended up finishing 3rd that day. She seemed a little headstrong, a little bit tough to settle early, but I think coming off that long layoff, she was a little bit keyed up and ready to go. But she showed good tactical speed. She finished up well, finished 1.5 lengths back. The place finisher, I Stanford, came back and beat the boys in the Arlington Classic. So she faced some good horses in her U.S. debut. I think Chad Brown was giving her the race, and he knew that she had a lot of stamina, and he wanted to run her in longer races, so now he shipped her to the West Coast for this 10-furlong race. I think she'll stalk the pace today, and hopefully she'll get the job done. Some others to consider: the 8 Room Service is going to take a lot of action for trainer for trainer Wayne Catalano, excuse me. This one dead heated with a Ken McPeak trainee, Rosalind. That was in the Ashland Stakes. A lot of pace in that race. She came from 12 lengths back, and Rosalind was a closer as well. It's set up for off-the-pace runners. They ran fast, a good effort. They considered her for the Kentucky Oaks, but they decided that she wasn't going to be as good on dirt. They were going to keep her on turf and synthetic. So she's back on turf. She won the Here Comes the Bride at Gulfstream Park on March 2nd on turf at 9 furlongs, rallied from off the pace. If you look at her form, very consistent, spinning the money all 6 starts, but she does her best work when she sits way back, makes a big late run. All 3 of her victories, she was furthest back. She sat back, made a run, and got the job done. In her other races that she didn't win, she ran well, but she was a little bit closer, and she didn't have that kick late. As I said, without a lot of pace in here, she couldn't be up against it, having to sit too far back. The 2, Nashoba's Gold, might be the best of the local horses. This one for trainer Carla Gaines. Joe Talamo, the regular rider, is going to ride. 4 starts, 3 wins in a second. She's versatile. She can come from off the pace. She can stalk the pace like she did last time in the local prep for this, the Honeymoon. She's had a couple lengths back. She pounced in the stretch. Without a lot of speed signed on, she's going to be stalking the pace here, and she should be tough in the stretch. And then the 7, Diversey Harbor, spin knocking heads with Nashoba's Gold. This one, another consistent one with 4 starts, 2 wins, a second and a third. The question here is the distance. The first 2 starts, 6.5 furlongs in 1 mile, big late kick, got the job done. Last 2 starts at 1 1/8 miles, ran well, but seemed to lose her kick at the end. And is that going to happen at 1.25 miles as well? Bred for the distance, switches riders to Mike Smith, but I think she's got a deadly kick in shorter races. In these longer races, not so sure. So this is how we're going to play this race. We're going to make a $25 win bet on Little Journey. Then we're going to play a $5 exacta. We're going to put Little Journey on top of Nashoba's Gold, Diversey Harbor, and Room Service. Now you can also DerbyWars.com. You can also play this race and all Santa Anita races over at DerbyWars.com, one of our major tracks there. a Saturday for this race. We're going to have some big tournaments, and this race will certainly be part of it, along with all the other Southern California races. Also go over to pick6blog.com if you're interested in the Santa Anita Pick 6 and Pick 4 tickets. Until next week, good luck at the races.